beautiful space that I call really serenity space.
Thank you for
Where,
having me.
thank you. Many times I question myself, like, my goodness, how are we going to turn this around? What are we going to talk about? It is so far away. This topic is so far away from what I do daily. It's so far away from real estate. It's so far away from sales. It's so far away from everything that I personally do with negotiations. Like it's like really nutrition, supplements, eating healthy, maybe just part of that is so important to me.
Hmm.
And I'm just naturally a giver. I think this comes a lot from my parents. My parents are very giving people. They would definitely give everything of their last to their children and their grandchildren. And I was just born. I was actually born and raised 7 years all by myself. My
Wow.
mom didn't have a second child for a while. And so I guess because I was given so much, I just learned to give.
So much
And
love.
bringing you into this podcast is just one of the ways that I want to give back to my audience, right? To those that I really truly care and love. And I just wish that I could speak on daily basis to like hundreds and hundreds of people and just scream my ears out loud and say, my gosh, Dr. Frida helped me with this and with that and with immune acid, immune
Immunoid.
aid. I mean, it's just so much that you do for the community.
Thank
And I'm just so honored to welcome you into this podcast. And so we could just unfold this episode with so much great energy and talk about your passion. And I want to also talk about the passion for mutual for Tony Robbins. You are one of the first people on my channel that is my Tony Robbins body. Welcome, Dr. Frida.
Thank you so much for having me. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you inviting me to your platform and sharing how I was able to help you.
Yes.
We've been working together for over half a year now, and
I feel like it's more.
yeah,
I feel like I've known you forever.
yeah, we definitely developed an amazing relationship, especially once you found out I went to Tony Robbins. He's been really my mentor for a long time. I would say maybe since I was 26 years old. I've really been watching a lot of his work.
Wow. In
Yes.
Bukharian community, to have a lady watch Tony Robbins
Yeah, there's
since 26, that's super rare.
there's very few of us obviously that
Yes.
do, but he's made such a big change in my life that changed the way I think, the way that I feel, the way that I view life. And I mean, he's not the only one that I've followed, just as I'm sure you also
Absolutely.
watch other, you know,
Influencers.
influencers, people in personal development, but he's definitely been one of the main people. So
Awesome. So, Dr. Frida, I just can't see you calling you any other way but Dr. Frida. I feel that name fits you so well.
thank you.
And everyone, I just want you guys all to meet Dr. Frida. She's a holistic doctor. She believes in the same thing that I believe. Our mental capacity matches like soul sisters. We both believe that organically, naturally, holistically, if you treat yourself with respect, you love your body, and you really do the right things every single day. Like Mel Robbins says, that it's the work that you do behind the scenes
Absolutely.
that then shows on camera. So let's show them what you made of, Dr. Frida.
Thank you. I would love to answer people's questions, help
Yes.
them out in their health journey, and just be of service. That's what
Perfect,
I'm all
perfect.
about.
So just for the record, we are right now live on YouTube, my YouTube channel, your YouTube channel, and of course our favorite local community channel, Bukharians Also Cry. So for those of you that have any questions while we are recording live broadcast, you're more than welcome to drop your questions in the comments below. We will have someone reading the comments outside of the studio. And then as soon as we will be ready to wrap up, we will welcome that person and we will pick top few questions that we will answer live with Dr. Frida as we are recording right now.
Yes.
So, Dr. Frida, where the passion came from to even start this journey?
Well, you know my story. My son, he had asthma. He was diagnosed with asthma, and I was at a loss. We had a similar situation when I was a kid. My brother was diagnosed with asthma, and my mom, she was a nurse. She did not want to give my brother all of these medications, the steroids, the albuterol, and so they decided to move to a different state. to a dry state, Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm.
They moved out there, and I mean, they were really set in New York, but they decided to pick everything up and move out there for my brother to make sure that he doesn't, ruin his health and his body with these medications. So when I had to face the same situation, and I moved back to New York years later, but when I had to face the same situation, I said, I do not want to give my son pharmaceuticals, but I also don't want to move to another state. I guess I'm just not as selfless as my parents. I said, there must be a different way. I have to manifest a different way, right? I knew all about manifestation at that point. I said, there must be something. And I fell upon natural medicine. And I said, I remember coming to this pediatrician, who is an amazing pediatrician, by the way. But I remember coming up to her and telling her, like, oh, I'm giving my child herbs. I'm trying to fix his system. He has something called a leaky gut, all of these things. And she kind of looked at me oddly. She said, oh, those things don't work. Don't believe in those things. Just keep him on, keep him on the Pulmicort. Keep him on, they'll give him albuterol whenever he needs to. He'll grow out of it. He'll be fine. And I said, you know what? I said, okay, sometimes you don't want to argue with your provider, right? And I feel a lot of people go through that same thing where they don't feel comfortable telling their provider what is really going on inside of them and how they actually feel, because they don't want to either put the provider down, or they don't want to lose favor with their provider. So I simply said, okay. And I went home and just did my own thing. I did not give my child these things. And yes, it was a long journey. It was not overnight. And this is what I always tell my own clients, that, listen, this is not a fast fix. This takes time. And there were days when we did regress, right? And we had to go back and use, the albuterol to save his life. And it did regress. But over time, I saw a big difference. When I was consistent, even though on those days, I was really down, because I said, I'm doing so much and it's still going back to this. So that means that there's
not working.
Yeah, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it's really not working. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. But then with time, I saw that it was gone, and my child was,
feeling better.
He was in the clear. He was, he was thriving. And I said, wow, okay, this is the way. And that I was already in medicine. I was already in dental, right? And I said, I have to go this path, and I have to figure out the entire body. Because when I was taking my classes in dental school, I saw how beautiful the body was. When everybody else just wanted to focus on the dental classes, I was more interested in medical courses, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was interested in both. I love dentistry, but I was interested in the pathophysiology, in histology, in microbiology, and everybody thought I was crazy. Oh, why do you like these courses? Why do you like the biochemistry? And I felt pulled, because it finally clicked in my head how things actually work
in the body.
Yes, how amazing the body is. And when I took anatomy and physiology, forget it. I was shocked. That is when my faith in God grew, when I actually went into the body and I saw how beautiful the body is, how every single artery was followed by a nerve, and how everything was put into the right place for it to fit perfectly. Like how the heart was leaning a certain way so that it can fit, and how one lung is bigger than the other lung, so that way, the heart can fit in between the two. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
So it's an art.
It really is. I mean, there has to be a creator, right? To have something that beautiful, there has to be someone that created it. It couldn't just come out of nowhere. And that faith in God just grew. And I realized that, listen, if something this magical could exist, it could heal itself.
Correct.
And then I started doing more research and more searches, and I started getting more and more into it. I figured out a way to get my PhD while doing dentistry as well. And, here I am today. And a lot of people, they actually ask me, they say, oh, you went to dental school, you did all this work. And also, dentistry is the bigger, financially.
Field,
yeah, I mean, I used to do veneers and charge maybe $50,000 for the full set in the mouth, right?
Wow.
When I was working in Connecticut as an associate, which I stopped doing once right before I had my baby. But you can really make a lot of money doing dentistry, And I said, listen, I have to go towards my calling.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do this, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to practice dentistry. I most likely will. Like here and there, just for the love of it, for the passion of it. But I am so busy doing wellness and helping people that I don't know what they will do without me, my clients.
How did you discover your calling? Did you meditate? Did you go through something personal? yourself besides giving so much and caring so much for your children? How did you discover your purpose in that field?
So you know what? I always asked. So I'm a very reflective person. I love to work on personal development, and that I really care to not just be not just to be alive, but to actually live, right? And I always asked God, I said, what is my purpose? Like, what is my purpose? I want to live my purpose. Otherwise, what is the point of all this? It all ends, right? We're running after money. We're running after this. We're running after
Material
that.
stuff.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's all gone. Like, poof, it vanished. Like, we're not taking any of this with us. So what is my purpose? Like, what is the point of forcing me to move forward and to give and to live, right?
And our existence.
Yes. So I kept asking that. And then, my brother, actually, we're very, very similar. He has such a high IQ, and he's constantly reading, and he's always into like psychology and different things. And he's the one that told me, he said, you know what? I read this book that talks about how you can hypnotize yourself by looking in the mirror. And I said, okay, that sounds a little scary.
A great exercise we could practice.
It's actually should not be done by everyone. It can be really scary. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I got excited because, I like these things. I sat in front of the mirror in my room, and I stared into my eyes, and I asked myself, I said, what can I do in my life? Like, where is my purpose? Where does my success lie? Right. And I remember my subconscious mind telling me, amongst a lot of other things, that was not my only question. I remember my subconscious mind telling me, you have so much knowledge, you have to give it out for free. Don't be afraid to give out your knowledge for free. Don't expect to get paid for your knowledge. Once you give out your knowledge for free, you will be very successful. And, speaking with my husband, I told him about this, and he said, hey, why don't we create a WhatsApp chat? Why don't we just give people a lot of value? Just tell people like how to feel good. Why don't we just create that? Like, and for our community, just people you
want to talk a little bit about Jack? Who is Jack?
Jack is
Besides the fact he's your
my
husband.
Amazing husband, who is actually a physical therapist.
I just called him Tony Robbins.
Yeah, he's my Tony Robbins.
Yes.
He's constantly motivating me at home.
That's amazing.
And it's not always a good thing, because sometimes you just want to be left alone and not motivated. But
shut up, I want to be left alone.
Yeah, but he's always giving me that motivation. Thank God. He's definitely, my backbone. None of this.
He's also a doctor.
Yes, he is doctor of physical therapy. A lot of people look at me and they say, "Oh my God, you're so amazing. How do you have kids? And you're a doctor, and you do this and you do that." And you know what?
How many kids do you have?
I have 4. Thank God.
God bless.
I would say that it's not just me. You know what I mean? I would never be able to do all this on my own. Honestly, he's the one that pushed me to do everything. He really pushed me. He believed in me.
He's the one that called me.
Yeah, he's the one that called you. He's the one that pushed me, the one that believed in me, the one that always tries to, help me in every single way. And still till this day, I said this before, but I almost kind of fell off the bandwagon with the WhatsApp chat. It was very overwhelming once I had my baby.
Many people.
Once I had my baby, people were expecting me to respond consistently. I had already built that, and it was too much.
How many people do you have on one chat?
1,024 in each chat, and we have 3. They're pretty full right now, 2 of them, and the third one is growing.
Wow, that means that over 3,000 people you are able to impact every single day.
Almost.
For free. And while I'm minding my own business with my real estate and negotiations and sales and photography and everything else that I do, I see your messages with Jack keep coming every single moment. It's just amazing what you guys do for the community.
Thank you so much.
And I really want to highlight something super important. There's a lot of people in our community that I personally felt that definitely need Dr. Frida's guidance, advice, because she is doctor on call. She is there for you guys to call with any kind of challenges. You choosing to buy her products and you choosing to follow what she's going to recommend you do, you do. If you don't feel like you want to, you're not obligated.
Yep.
You don't charge for consultations.
No.
And one of the best parts about Dr. Frida that I personally love is that you ask for their blood work.
Yes.
And I've seen in and out how many times you've been telling people, give me your blood work, and I'll tell you exactly what's going on with you.
Yes.
And you're not just like coming up with this idea of, taking this and that and like selling like in Costco or BJ's. bags and bags of these bottles of vitamin C and zinc and, ashwagandha and, turmeric and collagen, like all this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
you monitor the dose, you tell
Tell them
people.
I recommend exactly what would benefit them.
Correct.
That's really what I look for to make it the easiest possible way for them. I mean, I'll write down on the bottles what my recommendations are just
Right.
for them to remember and for them to know. And I mean, people don't understand, they go to a pharmacy and they buy things. First of all, they're synthetic. No, they're not pure at all. They'll go to a pharmacy, they'll go to, Amazon, they'll purchase things, and then it'll say take 2 capsules, and people follow that. And then they say, why isn't it helping me? Well, first of all, even if it is synthetic, it should help. It's just putting a lot of pressure on your liver and kidneys. But the reason it's not helping you is because you don't have the proper guidance. You need to know how much to take of it so it does help you. You need to know what kind of flood to give your body, what to do, what not to do. And you can only get that under the guidance of a practitioner, right? It's not readily available out there. You can't even get that off of ChatGPT, because ChatGPT, a lot of people go on there and they're like, okay, it'll make my whole life change, whatever. But ChatGPT makes so many mistakes, guys. Be very careful. It really is. I mean, it's AI, but it's
dangerous.
It's dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous to trust and believe everything that it says.
Dr. Frida, earlier you mentioned that your family sacrificed and moved to Arizona.
Yes.
Did it help? Did it help?
It did. The dry climate definitely helped. My brother grew out of his asthma, and then he ended up moving back to New York years later. But he did feel the impact of asthma again while he was living here. He did tell me he was feeling the impact. So what that means when you're feeling that impact is it means your body. Yeah, the body is amazing. We have this genetics, right? And this genetics, genetics, and we have toxins also. So this genetics is fed by our environment, and the toxins are also fed by the environment. So he was toxic, his body was toxic, but him being in the cold environment triggered those toxins to react, right? But when he moved to Arizona, the environment changed, and so the toxins were kind of laying low. They kind of fell asleep. When he came back here, he started feeling it again.
Wow.
Yeah, so
it's New York's weather.
It's definitely the weather, but that's why I say, you need to detox your body. You need to cleanse it. It's not that simple that, oh, I'm just going to change my environment and things are going to go away. Yeah, they're going to go away, but your entire future. What if you want to live somewhere else? What if you don't want to, live in the same place? What if you want to travel? When you travel, you're going to get sick. I have somebody that comes to me and she consistently gets urinary tract infections when she is in New York. She lives in Florida, and every time she's in New York, she feels it. And the reason is because there's a bacteria sitting there that is staying calm when it's in Florida because of the heat, right? The inflammation doesn't show itself. But once she comes out here, that bacteria starts regrowing and it starts causing her problems. So that bacteria needs to be cleansed out. It cannot just stay in there, because even though you don't feel it like in a big way living in Florida, that bacteria is sitting in there, and imagine how much damage it's actually causing for the future, for the kidneys. Yeah, it's not good to have it in there.
Wow. Wow, this is so much information. Like, I'm getting drowned in so much information here. What are your top few supplements that you recommend that people should take?
So again, we said that it all depends on you, right? Most people definitely need magnesium. When I say most, I'm saying like almost all people.
Why?
Even though when your blood work comes back and it says that you are at the perfect amount, because that blood work is not accurate. That magnesium is not accurate. You need magnesium for over 300 different processes in your body. You're using magnesium so much when you stress, when you're trying to, when you're working out, when you're, even right now we're speaking, we're using up magnesium in our body, thinking, collaborating. All of that is a lot of magnesium usage. So magnesium is definitely an important supplement that I would say I think everybody should be on.
How many pills a day?
So it depends on the person, right? It depends on the age. It depends on, this is why, it also depends on what you're taking. So the magnesium that I love to use, it is amazing in which way. It actually has taurine in it. Taurine is amazing in what way? That it allows the cells to absorb the magnesium. And when it allows the cells to absorb the magnesium, the person doesn't need to take as much, because usually magnesium, when people take it, their body uses what it needs at that moment, and then the body releases the rest. And which is why people say that it helps them with using the bathroom.
Mm.
You understand? So people use the bathroom, the magnesium is kind of going in and it's coming right out. The body is not absorbing it. But with the magnesium that I use, which is why I love it and why you need less of it in comparison to using a different magnesium, is because it's actually storing your cells. So in the beginning, when a person comes to me, I flood them with magnesium. I give them a lot. And then we cut down the dosage. We make it less because we know that the cells have already stored it. And now we can use even less magnesium, which is cost effective. It's better for your body, right? And I mean, why wouldn't you want something that's pure and that's going into your cells for a time when you have a stressful moment and you need to use your magnesium?
When you're looking at the person, let's say me and my husband, okay? Like I'm 150 pounds up and down throughout the year, trying to stay there. And my husband could be over 200 plus pounds. How do you differentiate the dose for the weight?
How do I differentiate the dose? So, I mean, somebody like him would need a lot more, obviously, because your muscles, your DNA, your body uses to create it. So how do I differentiate the dose? I mean, I know at this point what dose he should take, what dose you should take. Also, the blood work will tell me as well if you're close to being full, if you're not as full, what I'm looking at exactly.
How often a person should do the blood work?
I would say the best thing to do is do it every 6 months. If you are struggling with, pre-diabetes or you do have diabetes, then at least every 3 months. And usually I have my clients, somebody that comes to me with autoimmune disease, for example, and I'm trying to help them heal themselves. We usually do about every 3 month evaluation because it takes 90 days for the body to really reset itself. So I give them enough for about 3 months. And then we reevaluate in 3 months. And what I generally ask them to do is get more blood work, and then we'll reevaluate from there.
Can you talk a little bit more about your products, how different they are from what's sold in Costco and BJ's?
So yeah, they are, first of all, I only work with people with a company that has my values. Right? They have my values. They really care about their clients. They really care about providing a good service. And what I love about their products is their purity. Their purity, where they come from.
Is it kosher?
So no, they are not kosher. They are vegan. And what I want to say is that for me, it's more about, I can buy kosher items, right? But they are not going to give me the results that I'm looking for. For me, people say that, oh, it's just supplements. This has nothing to do with saving my life. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's not just supplements. This is important for your body. People say that when I asked them, I said, how come you're okay with going to, the pharmacy and getting the antibiotic? What do you ask for the ingredients? Do you know if it's kosher? Is it certified kosher? When you get it, when you take the antibiotic, when you take the Motrin, when you take the Tylenol, when you take that epinephrine, if you need it, right? And they say to me, oh, that's to save my life. Well, I give them drainages. I give them bacterial drainages, detoxes. I give them viral detoxes that absolutely work. How is that not saving your life? Or how is you taking a supplement that is vegan worse than taking something that's prescribed by a pharmaceutical that is not clean, that you don't know? I mean, I just spoke to a provider who was testing what an MMR vaccine has in it. It has fetal embryos. It has pig particles in there. People are injecting their kids with it, with all these things, and they don't even know what's actually in there because it's said by the doctors, because this is for life-saving. But when it comes to supplements, oh my God, my rabbi has to approve it. And believe it or not, many, many people come to me and they take my supplements and they go to their rabbi and they get it checked. A lot of my clients are Orthodox and their rabbis do approve of it.
Awesome.
They really, they say, of course, this is for your life, for you to be healthy.
Do you have any rabbis as clients?
Actually, yes, I do.
And you spoke about detoxing earlier. I'm very big on that because I think that when we get on day-to-day busy life, drinking and eating and breathing all these toxins that's around us.
Too many toxins.
Too many toxins, right? So what would be your take on recommendation for detox, and what do you offer as a detox product?
So, what are we really detoxing? That has to be the first question, right? We're detoxing your organs, your blood, right? Your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is, I don't know how well versed you are in medicine, but your lymphatic system is the sewer system of your body. It holds on to everything, right? So, we're detoxing that. We're detoxing your liver. Your liver is your big brother organ. The liver stores, it hoards all of these things in there, like plastics, toxins, and it stores them in these stones, okay, that are called they're hepatostones, right? And these stones, they have all of these viruses in them, all these toxins in them, and they get stored inside the liver. And we cannot see it when we do a sonogram or even an MRI. We cannot see those stones because they're not calcified. They don't have calcium in them. The only time that you can see something like clearly like that is if it has calcium in it. It shows up as white. It shows up as a different color, right? So if it's not showing up because it doesn't have calcium, it cannot show up. And people say, oh, you have a fatty liver, which means your liver is enlarged. Why is it enlarged? It's hoarding these stones. That's why it's enlarged in there.
Wow.
Right? That's not always necessarily, it's just fat. It's stones that
I know a lot of people around me that have fatty livers, and they have to definitely see you. Maybe we should do like Tony Robbins event one day and bring you on stage, and you will talk in front of thousands and thousands of people, because I definitely think it's definitely something that people need to hear and understand. This is definitely something that is important to understand, that your body is your life. And if you don't take it serious, it's going to crash.
Yeah,
it's going to simply crash. How many people come to you that are crashing, right? They're like at 911 state, and you shared with me earlier that some ladies in our community are hesitant to buy the products because
of their husbands.
Why?
Because they fight over finances.
So can we educate our husbands, our lovely, amazing, awesome husbands, that no, I don't need another Chanel bag. Okay? I mean, Chanel bags right now are so crazy overpriced that it's like ridiculous. If we could buy like, what, a year or two worth of supplements to stay healthy and to really build our amazing future, right?
Of course, yes. So to me, right, health is wealth.
Correct.
Right? When you're not healthy, or God forbid, if somebody's child is sick, what they wouldn't give. I know people that they have, their kids are diagnosed with autism, or their kids, God forbid, got diagnosed with leukemia or something else. And they say, and these people have money, they say, I would give up everything just for my child to be healthy, right? And the same thing goes for, the wife and the husband. When somebody is not feeling well, when, the wife is down, even if she's not producing an income, right? Even if she is a stay-at-home mom, when the wife is down, things are not being done at home. They don't have enough energy for their husbands. They don't have enough energy to take care of their kids. They don't have to be sick to be taking care of themselves. Fatigue is also a form of not feeling well.
Fatigue could cause depression too?
Of course. Yeah. I know a lot of people who have depression because they don't feel good.
Right.
Because they don't know how to do the things they used to do. A lot of people, they are young and they're vibrant, and they, I want to use the word abuse themselves. They abuse themselves. They have kids back to back. They, invite people over. They work. They do all of these things.
They overeat on
especially
Shabbat.
In our Bulgarian community. These women, they do everything. They take everything on their shoulders, right? They work. They're with the kids. They take care of the house. They have that once a week Shabbat. Their husbands want them to invite people over every time. These women, they're warriors, but they don't understand that the fuel eventually runs out.
Correct.
Right? Especially after having kids, you give them all of that
energy.
You give them all your minerals. You give them all your vitamins. You give them so much of your, so much of what you have inside of you. And then these women, they're left with nothing. I have so many women that come to me between their 50s to their 70s that are absolutely depleted. They're depleted. Their bodies, they just tell me how depressed they are because they are not the same woman they were when they were in their 20s and their 30s, and they don't know what went wrong. They don't know how to help themselves. They come to me, and it's a very, very slow process getting them back on their feet. Yeah, they start feeling better almost right away within 7 to 10 days. But if they don't continue doing everything they're doing, they regress right away. So it does take 2 to 3 years for the body to fully reset itself. It's a big, long process. So my point is, we are a different generation. We are people with educations, right? We are people that see things differently. We should start taking care of ourselves. We should not be our mothers. We should not be our grandmothers. We should start taking care of ourselves now. Take that multivitamin before your hair falls out. Take that magnesium instead of, waiting years with a foggy mind and anxiety, and then taking a Xanax for it. Take the things that you need to detox and clean out your body, instead of afterwards having to get onto all of these medications like metformin, Janumet for diabetes. Take care of yourself. Now when you're healthy, just know that when you're healthy, do not take it for granted. That is my point. That is where I'm at.
That's the biggest blessing, is to be healthy.
I think I have also that vision because I'm in dentistry. And what is our biggest thing in dentistry? Preventative. We always want to prevent everything, which is why you have those 6-month visits, which is why you have those cleanings, right? Which is why you floss every night. We care about preventing a possible disease in the future. And that is what I'm trying to bring into not just dentistry, but health all around.
Amazing. Dr. Frida, you are a wealth of information. I think we should do like weekly lives on Instagrams and Facebook, because so much knowledge you're sharing right now. Have you had any women that came to you that are breastfeeding, for example?
Of course.
Mothers of multiple children. And now what happens during the breastfeeding process?
During the breastfeeding process, and I'm feeling it on myself right now because I do have a baby, right? I am breastfeeding at the moment. You feel, first of all, you can't detox the same way, but you feel like you need more support.
Mm-hmm.
And women are not supporting themselves. In our community, women are having 4 or 5 kids. They're not taking, and I speak to them. I say, what are you doing for yourself? What are you taking for yourself? Oh, no, just give me everything for my kids. I'll take care of myself like last. I'll come back when all my kids are doing well. How are you pouring from an empty cup? Your cup needs to be full for you to be able to pour. And you know what? I don't think it's selfish at all. When women come to me, I say, listen, they come to me first for themselves. And then sometimes, they say, oh, okay, but my family also needs, I said, don't worry about your family. Start with yourself. If I give you everything, and these women only come to me when they're already in a bad place.
Mm-hmm.
Say, don't worry about your family. Start with you. Start taking this yourself. Become consistent with it. Right. Because if I give you everything right now, and I mean, it's beneficial for me to give them everything for their family, right?
Right.
That is how I can charge more. But I say, take care of yourself. Be consistent. Because if you take everything for your family right now, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to not know how to take care of yourself and run after your kids to take this, take that after your husband. Figure out how to do it properly for you. Become the healer in your family. Beautiful. Every woman is the healer in their family.
Beautiful. Right?
And then you can start taking care of everybody else. Because if you don't feel good and you're trying to do all of this at once, then how are you going to take care of, your 5-year-old son, your 2-year-old baby that's screaming that they don't want to take it? You have to feel great, and then you can take care of everything else.
So you're the pilot of the family.
Of course, the woman always.
Right.
Always the woman. I mean, listen, there are men that are more involved in health than women. There are some, very rarely.
Like Jack.
Very rarely. Yes. Well, I mean, Jack was not actually. I had to bring him into natural medicine. He was not about it at all. He was actually fighting with me about spending money on natural medicine in the beginning because we were spending a ton of money. We were spending like $2,000 a month to keep my son healthy.
Wow.
And we were broke, Olga. When I tell you we were broke, we had nothing. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Wow. How long are you guys married?
We've been married for 11 years now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So when I tell you that, he was not for it, no, but I showed him that there are results. I always laugh about this, how first the wife comes to me and then the husband comes to me for seconds, and then they come to me and I said, oh, why'd you come now? Like, you were against this. You didn't want your wife to buy this. I remember her fighting with you. He said, but it works. It works. I saw it work. Now that I saw it work, I'll come.
Yeah. Listen, I think there is talks, right? How brain of a woman is so different than the brain of a man.
Yes. 100%.
So I'm not in the medical field, never was like so into it. But now, as I'm getting older and I'm starting to learn more about my health, about immediate family, and I'm starting to see how important it is to eat right, how important it is to give up certain bad habits. Earlier, I asked you, Dr. Frida, how do you feel about people that take beer every single night as a reward after a long day worth of work, right? Or I have a lot of friends that drink every single night, they drink wine, red wine. It's like a very common thing to have. Like after a long day, you reward yourself with wine.
Is it a
And
cup? Is it a glass? Or is it a bottle? That's the question. A glass I'm okay with. When people usually drink every day, they don't just stick to a glass. That's the truth.
it
becomes a habit, and one glass becomes too little. They want more. I would say, just for the sake of your body, alcohol is not the worst thing you can take, right? But just for the sake of your body, for the sake of your liver, and not putting that excess stress on it, then just try to do it more minimally, maybe once a week to reward yourself instead of every single day. Beer is a different story. Beer has a lot of yeast in it. Okay. With the yeast, that becomes a problem. A lot of people are suffering with candida in our society. Candida is a fungus, right? And a lot of people have candida, and that beer, it feeds it because it grows more and more. Beer has lots of sugars, lots of yeast. So definitely better to stay away from beer on a daily.
wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Dr. Frida, let's touch just a little bit on the topic of middle age. Middle age crisis. Or maybe in other words, does men and women go through different time in their life through that time when does men have menopause?
I think they go through something for sure. For sure, Olga, because you know what?
You were married to an angel and then out of nowhere in the middle of his life, you're like, who are you?
They don't have that influx of like that hormonal change like we do, obviously. But they do have that, that their mentality changes at some point. They're looking
What's causing it?
What's causing it is, I would say in that sense, maybe the question of reflection, like the reflection they're having at that age, right? Of what is my life for? What kind of purpose do I have? And I know you know how that feels. I know how that feels. And I think at some point in life, people hit that. And that's kind of in their midlife.
Breaking point.
Because now they've done the right thing. Right. They've
overwhelmed.
Right. They've gone to school. They've had the kids. They got married. And now what's next? Okay, I made the money. Like, what's next? What am I doing with my life? What is this all for? What am I going back to work for tomorrow? What is this all for? People start having those questions like, did I see everything? Did I have everything I want in my life? I think that's what really goes through with men. With women, it's different. It's a big change in hormones. And, sometimes men will not understand that because they don't go through it. Women start fluctuating in their hormones. Usually, normally it's around the age of 45, right? The hormone fluctuation comes in.
What are the symptoms?
Hot flashes, just general discomfort, anxiety, possibly like angry, those kinds of things happen. They start having fatigue. They start feeling a different way. So that, I would say, is perimenopause. Right? And they go through that for about possibly 10 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And then menopause hits when there's a whole year of not getting your period. So that's when it's menopause.
Wow.
Considered menopause. So, and some people stay in postmenopause for a while too. So what I actually do is I use herbs, something like black cohosh, something like maca, to help put you back into the right place. Because those hormonal changes, they don't have to be as harsh. We can help control them with the proper herbs and supplements. Yeah.
So you're managing it. Besides supplements, Dr. Frida, besides, eating right, what other habits do you incorporate into your clients' lives? Exercise, meditation, breathing, yoga?
Definitely teach them a lot about breathing, especially my anxious clients.
Walking 5 miles a day.
Walking is important.
10,000
I love
steps.
walking. My husband sometimes gets so annoyed. Jackie, I'm always like, babe, let's go take a walk in the mornings or at nights. Always take a walk about 2 hours. We walk for 2 hours nonstop.
A day.
A day, yeah.
Wow.
And sometimes in the mornings, if we don't have time, then I force him to go out.
So the goal 2 hours is to what? To run the miles or to do the steps?
We do the steps, but not only that, it gives us time to collaborate, gives us time to talk. A lot of people think that a date night should be, going out to dinner, doing all it, but sometimes we'll just make ourselves some tea at home and we'll take a walk, or we'll go pick up some tea somewhere and walk and just talk.
Quality time.
Exactly. That's our quality time, when the kids are finally in bed. And we talk, say everything that's on our mind. We reflect, we talk about a lot of different things, about growth, about, what today was like, maybe some ideas that I may have, maybe some ideas that he may have. And we talk, we grow together because of that. And I think that that's so important for people to do, and not just think about, oh, let's go out to eat, let's go do this. Take your daily walks. But what I really tell a lot of my clients is journal. I have my book, the Dear Hashem journal that I created, the origins of it. For those of you who don't know, I was in dental school when I had my second baby. I had him about 2 to 3 weeks right prior to going to school. And it was a very overwhelming time in my life. In dental school, we had to be there bright and early, about 8 a.m. And my school was in Westchester. I was living in Regal Park at the time. So it was about a
commute.
Yeah, it was about a 45 to 50-minute commute. And sometimes it took longer. You can't never tell traffic. So I would always try to come earlier because we would have a quiz or exam every single morning at 8 a.m. sharp. If you missed it, you missed it. So I would always try to come earlier. I was there by 7:15, 7:20. And while everybody else was chatting and talking to each other and just, doing whatever they wanted to do, socializing, I was writing. And I started writing Dear Hashem. And I started writing Dear Hashem and writing out everything that I was worried about.
But what triggered you to start writing?
Overwhelmment, wanting to pray and, not being able to speak out loud because there were people around me. And then I was also thought, who am I going to, I want to journal. I want to get all this out on paper, but who am I speaking to? I'm not going to write Dear Diary. I'm not a baby. Who am I praying to? Who am I speaking to? When we're giving out all that gratitude, when we're speaking to the universe, who are we speaking to? It's Hashem.
Right.
So I said, let me just write Dear Hashem. And I would write every single day, anything that I had on my mind, some exam or worried about my baby or anything that was there that day. And everything I would write, it would just fall off my chest and I would feel amazing. So afterwards, I decided to go back and see what have I written. And everything was just all over the place because I had multiple classes. So I had multiple notebooks. And, one entry was here, the other entry was here. I said, I'm going to make myself a journal where I can carry it every single day with me. It will always be in my bag and I will always write in this journal. So I made it. And then, I was shy, but I shared it with my sister. I shared it with my mom, thinking they were going to think it's crazy, like I'm silly.
Losing your mind.
But they loved it. They loved it. They were like, wow, can I have one? Can I have one? So I started actually
printing
them and giving them out. We did a lot of hall events. We did a lot of tour and teas where we were just giving them out for free. And right now I'm collaborating with somebody to mass produce them. That's where I actually give my 10% to mass producing these and giving them out to different people. I'm hoping to put them into different yeshivas, giving them out to different people so that people can talk to God. Because, there's a book I read, it's called In Forest Fields. And in this book, this rabbi, he writes how we think that the prescribed prayers are the most important prayers, but really the most important prayers are our personal prayers to God. When we talk to God directly, when we give him our personal prayers, that's when things actually happen. Because when we do the prescribed prayers, the angels already know where it's coming from. So they block it. But when it's a personal prayer, it comes from the heart, they don't know where it's coming from. So they cannot block it. They have no time. It goes directly to Hashem. So that's why personal prayers are so important. I want more people to know about that, to know about praying, to know about, when you write it down, you make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How are you connected with the community? You mentioned something that you are very involved with the community and to contribute. And I know how important it is to you. Is there specific organizations that you are part of?
So I love to work together with Luda. She's all about kindness. She's amazing, amazing, Luda. If you hear this, I love what you do. She helps so many people. And I always if she was the one that reaches out to me for anything or I see anything, she's my go-to to kind of work with her. Because I believe in what she does.
What work have you done with Luda?
So we actually had that Hanukkah event, you remember. And also just in general, I don't want to talk about it. It's between us, but just in general, small things here and there.
Amazing. So you are a giver.
I love giving. Giving is how we receive.
How does it make you feel?
You know what it is? What is the point of life if we don't give? Right? Giving, when we give, it comes back tenfold. There was actually a book that I read, and it was called Rich Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, for whoever wants to purchase it. It's an amazing book. And in this book, this old woman teaches a man that when you give, you create a vortex. You create something that becomes like a void in the world, and it becomes big by 10 times of what you gave. And you give it, and it gives you back 10 times that amount. So sometimes when I have a client call me, or somebody that's not my client, like somebody just on WhatsApp chat ask me, and I give them free information, you don't understand how, it's not from them, but somewhere from the back end, somebody else comes to me and is like, okay, I would like to purchase this protocol from you. I would like to do this. Like out of nowhere, it just comes. And it's not just in this, but I remember, I will never forget, I had just read that book. And I don't know if you know, on Main Street by that Bagels and Appetizing, there's always some woman sitting there and asking, either sitting there or standing there and asking for donations. Because they know people come in and out. And I said, you know what? Because I read that book and it said, your job is not to ask, what are they really using it for? Is it like what you're giving it to them for? If they ask you, you must give.
Right.
So I pulled out a $10 bill. I will never forget this day. I pulled out a $10 bill and I gave it to her. Even though I see her there every single time, I gave it to her. And what you must say is a thank you, thank you, thank you. I claim tenfold return.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I said that. And then I drove over to the fish store. I don't know if you remember that fish store. It's on 164th Street in Union Turnpike.
Yes.
I drove over there. In about 10 to 20 minutes, I get a notification on my phone that I just received $1,260 as a grant out of nowhere.
Wow.
I was shocked. I said, what is this? And then I correlated the two.
You said 10 times fold.
How crazy is that? Like at that moment.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
At that moment, I said, wow, this is real.
Really working.
This is real.
Dr. Frida, I have to honestly tell you, sometimes, I'm very spiritual. And sometimes I really feel that I wish that I had a separate meditation room that would be just for me. So I don't even know if I would have at this point time to sleep. Because if you really look at the big picture, we all have 24 hours.
Yes.
And what you do with this 24 hours, it really all defines to how you value, your existence to the time that you're getting. It's like money. You're going to get 24 hours. What are you going to do with it? And sometimes I just wish that when I do my meditations, that I had a room that's completely separate from every other parts of my house that could be only for meditation. And I would just probably sit there 1 hour before I go to sleep and 1 hour when I wake up. And just in my head, play around the non-existence that doesn't even exist yet. And can it really become my reality?
100% it can. You listen to Joel Dispensa, correct?
Well, I don't have too much time to listen to him because I listen to a whole bunch of other people. I think Joel Dispensa his energy is too mellow for me. So that's why I'm looking for people that are like
Tony Robbins.
Yes, those that are really on a higher frequency than me. But I really truly feel that if people really understood how it works, even the words we say, even the comments that we type, right?
Yeah.
Like we put out a video yesterday,
Yeah, we did.
okay? And we got some very interesting comments that came in. I'm gonna say it openly for the record. I'm now in great vibration. I will say it out loud. Those that
Olga.
have the audacity to write anything that doesn't feed with my energy and my alignment, I will just skip it. I will not
That's
even
the only way
read
to go
it.
about it.
I will just scan through it and I'll be like, okay. And sometimes when I do my meditation, I'm telling you, sometimes I know who these people are. And I know the image of their mental capacity and body. And my brain just says, Olga, they need to meditate and detox. Two things come true. Meditate and detox. Because when you meditate and you detox, everything just shifts.
Yes, it does. Yes, we are made with so many trillions of bacteria. Not only bacteria, we have parasites, we have fungus in our body, the candida that we were talking about, right? There is so much in our body. We live with more microbes than our own cells. That's what I can tell you. And when you change, when you shift that, when you detox, when you eat well, when you meditate and you change your entire physiology, your biochemistry, then everything changes. The way you look at the world changes. What you see changes. The way you feel changes. You become a different person. It really is possible to become a different you.
Of course.
That's why you see, I don't know if you look on Instagram, but people will show like what they were and what they became.
Yes.
Right? And you could see that shift as if it's a different person entirely.
Absolutely. Are we going to get a lot of obstacles on the way? Are we going to get a lot of, change of mood or some events that are happening or some clients that are not pleasant? Are we going to have some events with the kids or, immediate family, like with parents that are triggering our mind to react immediately? But again, if you trained well enough, you'll know how to control those emotions.
Can I actually tell you something? So when I was in school, right, so many people around me were depressed. They were so down. And, even after I finished school, I remember distinctly, I had tutored this kid before I started school. And his mom calls me. Now I finished school and he is in the program. And which she says that I inspired him to go into this program. But the mom calls me and she says, my son is so depressed. He's so anxious. He's not married. He doesn't have kids. Like, how did you do it? How do you have the ability to, how did you go to school? How did you have another kid while you were in school? I had 3 kids while I was in school. How did you do it? And I said to her, you know what? My secret sauce is I would listen to Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn on every single drive to school. And when everybody else was angry and upset and depressed, I felt grateful. I felt happy. I felt energized. I felt like I could conquer the world. And that is what set my mindset. And that is, it's not a joke. It makes such a big difference.
Absolutely. Because when you grateful and thankful to Hashem, the higher power, to universe, to whomever you trust, you just at the same time cannot be angry. Like when you thankful and grateful, how can you be angry? Our mind can only process one thought at a time. We cannot think at the same time about 10,000 things. We could have racing thoughts, right? Thinking about different ideas, different thoughts, one after another. And it's kind of like becomes that craziness. But if you really take a deep moment and say, you know what? I'm just grateful for this moment. Yes, things could always be better.
But they could also be worse.
Yes, absolutely. But in the end of the day, what I personally get inspired by and what I like to do is, I'm not saying one day I'm going to become Tony Robbins, although God only knows in universe what it has in store for me.
Amen.
But sometimes when I get through some negative emotional moments in life and I talk to my yoga teacher and she always reminds me, hey, do you think Tony Robbins doesn't have haters? Do you think Tony Robbins, every single one that watches him or listens to him or shows up to his events, do you think everybody is in love with him? To be honest with you, I think every single one that follows him, yes, loves him, because you can only resonate to the energy that you are receptive to. It's like the magnet, right?
Yeah.
Like you can only follow through and deal with people that are like-minded because you want to be with this type of people. But yes, sometimes you will get haters. Sometimes you will have people that are jealous. Simply, they're just jealous because they don't have the same gifts and talents or
We
capabilities.
all have to interrupt you there, Olga. We all have our own gifts and talents. We are
Correct.
all put on this earth to make some sort of change, to make some sort of difference. It's just that some people, they rather focus on what others are doing than doing something themselves. If and my husband and I talk about this all the time, if these people would take the energy that they're putting out with this hatred, like imagine what they could create
I know.
if they could just put it into the opposite direction
Yeah.
and
Do
take it,
something
yeah,
with it.
do something with it. They could probably do more than you and I, Olga, because they have so much passion for it. They have that hating passion. They can just take it towards another direction and do so
So
much.
much with it.
Yes.
Well, to touch base, going back to the talents and the passion. I don't know if you know that we created recently a group with my good friend Regina and a lot of people watching our lives. She's also very passionate about Hashem. She recently went through some personal event that she had a choice of a decision which way she wants to go. And she shared that personal moment with me like, Olga, I could have become this, but yet I chose to do this. And coming closer to God, coming closer to Hashem, I think it gives you much stronger power to become that higher version of you
Yes.
and be more proud. And how are you going to show up for your kids? And we are the role models for our kids, right?
Yes.
And if we collapse and we don't become a good role model for our kids and we don't become that example to our children, although sometimes we could witness them go through very hard path, they could go through like a very different path in life, like, whether with work, whether with school, whether with relationships, like we cannot dive into their space, but we need to become higher, right? Higher, whether it's with the help of God or whether it is with somebody who's coaching you or whether it is to have somebody who is guiding you. Maybe it's a rabbi for some people. Like a lot of people say, oh, I have a rabbi. God bless you, you have a rabbi. For me, I have a whole bunch of other people that I have in my life and I simply don't have the 24 hours enough time to dedicate to communicate with them so I could step up to the next level, because as we go, as we grow, and as we learn, we now need to execute, right?
Yes.
Because learning and practicing without execution, like, okay, you learned all this, but what's next?
Yeah. Knowledge is not power. It's
Right?
action. You have
Correct.
to take action. You have to put that knowledge to use.
Right. So going
Apply
back
it.
to Regina and our group, we have created this group where it's couples group, where we meet once every couple of weeks and we brainstorm ideas. We brainstorm the challenges. We brainstorm the opportunities. We talk about, what events are happening in the world, what's happening in the families. How can we then step up and give more back to the community? What can we do more of for our children, our family, and our community? And I'm super excited. I'm actually communicating with someone who is very big in our community. And hopefully things will play out in a way that we're going to welcome her and she will also play a huge role in that. But yes, we are right now creating and developing those couples groups where
Amazing.
we could help each other and really help our kids understand that, yes, you are born with the talent. Yes, you are born with the gifts. Every single child in this earth came with a purpose.
1,000,000%.
Okay? And the gift is to discover and open up your gift and purpose. If you did find yourself and you open up this gift and purpose, I'm telling you this, I'm getting goosebumps all over my body because I know that I found mine. Every single one that knows me, they know that I have passion for helping people discover their talents and improve their life. And selling real estate just happens to be my vehicle to do what I do on a daily basis from what I love. My coach always reminds me, he's like, listen, I want you to always go back to the basics. Communicating with people one-on-one is the key component how people will be connected with you on one-on-one. Is it my dream to bring so many, like hundreds and hundreds of people on board and really create this collaboration of bringing this unity in our community, Some people could feel like, oh, she's bluffing. Oh, it's never going to happen. Let them. God knows. Mel Robbins wrote a book, right? Let them. And I love listening to Mel Robbins every single day also.
She's amazing.
Because she's amazing, and she talks about her book. And when people are not aligned with you on the same page, okay, they didn't get there.
Yeah, just let
It
them.
just will take a little more time. But I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about learning. I'm passionate about giving back. I'm passionate about working and selling and helping people to get through their challenges in their life. You know, I just recently had a client who went through the most challenging moment in her life where she had a tenant who didn't pay her rent for a while. And she's going through that emotional roller coaster ride where she is losing hope and how things will play out and what's the end result will be. I already know in my head what the end result will be. I already see her shaking my hand at the closing table. And I always tell her, just believe him.
Yeah.
Make a contract with him because he's got you. He brought you on this earth. He gave you this challenge. He gave you the opportunity to understand that if it didn't happen yet, you didn't learn your lesson. Because we all come here to learn lessons.
You have to ask the question when something happens, you have to say, what am I missing here? What can I learn from this? What is God trying to tell me? What is the message? What is the message here?
And if you keep going back into the same cycle, not forward, but backwards, right? We have a road. We have to always keep going forward. We cannot look back. If we did not learn from going forward, what did we learn from the experience we just had now or before? You're going to keep going into the same experience. Whether it's, you know, the same lesson, whether it's the same relationship, whether it's the same mistake, whether it's the same behavior with money, God keeps giving you. What are you doing? You keep going, playing in a casino. You keep having bad habits. You're not working on yourself. You're not exercising. You're not using your mind to really become the best version of you.
Yes.
Okay. And by the time you are in your deathbed, by the time you what? Life expectancy, what do you say right now?
I mean, life expectancy is, it's at 80, I think at 80 years old.
So let's say you are at the age of 80 and you are crashing. The body cannot handle it anymore. You're collapsing. What are your biggest regrets? I wish I did what?
Wish I took care of this when I was younger and was healthy.
Correct.
You know what? My husband, he's a physical therapist, as we said, and he does geriatric care. He actually does home care where he goes to people's homes and helps them get better. So he sees old people all the time. And this is where he gets his passion for helping people stay healthy, because these people constantly tell him, take care of your health, take care of your wife, take care of this, take care of that, because they understand
the value.
How it feels to be broken.
Right.
You know, how it feels to be 80 years old, even if they live till 90 years old, but be stuck to your couch, not have energy or the ability to play with your grandkids, your great grandkids. Right. I mean, I see it in young people. Like, just don't even talk about life expectancy. I see people in their 60s in our community that are broken down, falling apart, not able to walk normally. Their knees are hurting. Their hips are hurting. They're, you know, having open heart surgeries. There's so much going on. People are young and falling apart. I would say between 40 to 60. I see a lot of that.
I think, especially in our community, I think it has a strong passion to do a lot with the food intake. Because to be honest with you, the last Yeshua I went to, it was my grandmother's Yeshua. We started at 7, and the food, we didn't start touching food at least, I think, until about 9. So I looked at the time. Of course, I was already hungry. After a long day of having emotional roller coaster ride with my clients, by the time I'm 6 o'clock, I want to finish my last meal. And having at Yeshua's food intake at 9 o'clock at night, oh my God. My aunt was sitting right next to me. She's on the wheelchair. And I just started acting up. I'm like, do you understand why you are like that? Because you're eating late at this Yeshua's and we can't do this anymore. We got to change. And she looks at me, she thinks like I'm a lunatic. I said, I need to eat at least a fish or something. I just can't do this anymore. It's too late. It's just wrong on the body.
It's very wrong.
Right?
Yes.
So I think that eventually, somewhere, somehow, the twist will happen where we're going to have to redesign our old traditions and habits. Not in a bad way. We're going to keep a lot. I think we will keep a lot. But I think we will need to twist and redesign because overeating until 12 o'clock midnight for some people, or constantly even looking at the fridge because they're bored, right?
It's their ghrelin hormone. When they're tired, they think they're hungry. So
Sometimes I joke with my husband. I tell him, "You're not hungry. You're just dehydrated." And then when I'm hungry, he goes, "You need to drink water."
Yeah.
But we joke like that a lot also with my husband. But I really try to stay away from red meat. I don't know how you feel about red meat in general.
So I don't think that red meat is a problem. I think that a lot of people, I don't know about anybody else that's watching, but red meat has been shown to be healing for people as long as it's grass-fed, it's hormone-free, without antibiotics. A lot of people actually heal themselves with a carnivore diet. So am I against red meat? No, I cannot say. But every person's body reacts differently to different things. You just have to figure out what fits you. I always talk about eating intuitively. Like for me, for example, I'm not a big fan of eating red meat myself because it just doesn't feel good afterwards. But I know people, they live off of red meat and they feel amazing, you know? So I like to eat intuitively. I like to eat what makes me feel good. For example, if I touch like white bread, I feel brain fog, so I won't touch it, you know? As opposed to maybe eating some sourdough, I feel okay. So really every person just needs to eat and actually pay attention to what their body is feeling. Exactly. And when your body feels good, remember, the quantity of food you eat will determine how you look, but the quality of food you eat will determine how you feel. So you really just have to see what you're feeling when you're eating the food.
Wow. Now, going back to the fish. Okay, we spoke about fish just a little bit. I remember years ago, I attended Tony Robbins' seminar, and he was having a problem with, I think,
overload of heavy metals, mercury.
Mercury. So do you think overeating on fish could also cause some sort of a negative effect on the body?
Yes. So fish is, especially tuna. Tuna has a lot of mercury in it, and mercury is definitely very detrimental to your health. So what I would say is if you really love fish, try to focus on the smaller fish. Eat the smaller fish. When you eat the smaller fish, not only do they have omegas in them, but they also have less mercury. So sardines are amazing, you know.
Although they are in the oil?
Don't eat the ones in oil. No, I get the ones that are in water. And I pour a little bit of my own olive oil over it. You drain the water and you pour your own extra virgin olive oil, because no matter what kind of olive oil, no matter that it says that, oh, it's olive oil, it's probably a really refined one and it's not good for you.
Do you think that food could substitute supplements?
So in our generation, no, I do not think it could. And the reason is because our food is not, like our soils are not replenished enough for the food to have enough minerals in them, and our water, it doesn't have any magnesium in it like it used to. It's being filtered out too much because there are a lot of pharmaceuticals and toxins in the water, so it's being filtered out where there is no magnesium left in the water like there used to be. So therefore, no, our food is not enough. We do still need to supplement.
How many types of oils, supplements that you recommend?
So I recommend you just getting either a really good omega or getting a plant-based fish oil. A plant-based oil. So plant-based DHA.
And how often do you communicate with your clients? Well, let's say they came to you and they bought a whole bunch of supplements, and now do you monitor them? Do you get in touch with them? I know you did this with me. I remember.
You know that everybody has direct contact towards me.
Right.
So they can contact me at any time. They text me. I always say texting, you'll get faster response because I can't even reply to you if I'm seeing someone or if I'm on a consult with someone. I can reply on text. I cannot always reply on a phone call. So I always ask to text for a faster response. However, if somebody tells me or if somebody calls me and catches me at a good time, I always pick up. But if they call me and it's not a good time, I'll always text them, let's schedule sometime today. And it's usually today or maybe tomorrow morning that we can speak. I don't push it off for weeks, that we can speak and address your concerns. But usually it's a quick question. Oh, can I take this with food? Or if I take this, how many hours do I have to wait before I eat? It's usually very, or how much water do I put in with the supplement, right? That I take. I usually just give them a quick advisement and we move forward. It's not months. That's when I like to reevaluate, but I do follow their journey with them. I text them. I ask them, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Just checking in on you.
Is there any side effects anybody came back with on any of your supplements?
So it's not side effects. There have been possibly reactions that some people. So I had a kid try one of my supplements and it just didn't fit him because he was diagnosed with ASD, and so the way he took it was in a very anxiety-induced environment, and it just didn't fit him. He didn't feel good from it, So that is kind of a reaction that I can think of. Does it happen? I mean, it's the first time, right, that you can see something like that. But no, generally not something that I'm concerned about. Not a lot of reactions from anything because it's all very natural, and we give them a very safe dosage.
Do you see a lot of diseases in today's world that could be potentially worked on through natural homeopathic?
Oh
medicine?
yeah. I mean, unless you're deteriorated to the point that there's just no return, virtually anything. Virtually anything. Something that I steer very, very clear of is if you're already in the end stage of renal disease. It's very hard to give you anything to really make you feel good because your kidneys are so messed up and they're your filtration system, right? Also, if somebody, it has to be really, really bad.
You want to
for
talk
me
about
stay away.
diabetic? Like stage 2 diabetic? Is it reversible?
Yes.
How?
Yes. So we, first of all, clean up the diet. I tell them what they can and cannot eat. Second of all, I give them supplements. I give them mainly herbs that they can take. And these herbs, you don't understand what they do, Olga. They clean out the body. First, we focus on different parts, right? We focus on detoxing. If you are having diabetes, a lot of it stems from the liver because the liver is what is protecting your pancreas all this time, is helping and supporting your pancreas. So if you are having diabetes, it's because your liver is not doing well. So we go straight for the liver. We help to detox it. We remove everything from your lymphatic system. We help to clean it out. And little by little, you start seeing improvements. Within 3 months, people go and get reevaluated. Their A1C falls. Meanwhile, they're taking 4 or 5 different medications, and their A1C is even higher.
Yes.
So we definitely work on that. Once the body is clean, the body can be a miracle.
I told you, right, that my husband tried
The
vegan diet. And when he started to do vegan diet, we hired a personal coach who was guiding him through special systems, how to start. And he was very ambitious when he started. Very, very ambitious. But I think that throughout the whole process, I think what I noticed about my husband, he's not good with changes. Like, I could make changes very quickly. Sometimes I'm even joking with my mom, like, how can I be married to this man for over 30 years? Like, I need to change things all the time.
I did too. I need constant change.
I need rapid change all the time. This is why I'm so like into personal growth, development, like execution, like learning, and then execution. Like I'm like in constant movement, right? My husband is very, very different. And so when he started this vegan diet, I was so passionate. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, let's do this. I'll do this with you. I'll be your biggest cheerleader.
Supporter.
I'll be your biggest supporter. We're going to cook at home more, like stop going out, maybe do less of it. Maybe we'll just watch what we eat. And I started to like post like, who knows, like vegan restaurants. Like I started to dive deeper into like different lifestyle. And I started to see the difference in my husband's life. And there was a task of like taking screenshots of the food he eats and taking picture of his body. And I was like, wow, this is a miracle. Like I just started to see that transformation. Only up until to the point where he needed to change that route because I was told that vegan diet is not good for too long. Like for me, I could be on vegan diet forever. And I don't look like I'm like missing food. You know, like I look fine. As a matter of fact, I wish I could lose 25 more pounds.
I can help you with that.
Okay. But
you look amazing.
Thank you. But I started to actually fall in love with my husband from a different angle because I started to care for him in a different way. I started to cook. I started to do more. I started to be more like with him aligned on the foods that we eat. Like, I'll have this and you have this. And it was like kind of like a game, vegan game that we played.
It was a new project you took
It was
on.
a new project, maybe. I don't know what it was, but it was so much fun up until he had to kind of like shift and change it. And of course, he had to stay away from carbs. He had to stay away from red meat. He had to stay away completely from many different things. So it was all about just like, I think we were not even allowed to eat eggs because eggs came from chicken and chicken is,
Yeah.
you know, so there was so many different changes that we had to go through. But then he failed and we are trying to go back slowly
on
back to on. But I have to tell you one thing. It is very, very important for every person to have someone, either a cheerleader or a mentor or someone who's going to keep them accountable or a coach. I know coaches nowadays cost a lot. I think eventually we'll get to the point where everyone will have a coach.
It's worth it, you know. I had a lot of mentors in my life, a lot of people that coached me. I mean, I would never be where I am if I didn't have the people that that know what they're doing and know how to guide me in the right place. I still have mentors all the time.
Absolutely.
I don't do everything on my own. I ask questions, and yeah, I totally believe that you have to have, you know, at least if you have one person behind you and supporting you, one person that's your cheerleader, you can achieve anything.
Absolutely.
You just need that one person.
And someone who is watching you maybe fall into the situation that you believe like you're getting stuck on. You need to have a coach that's going to see your actions, behaviors, feelings, emotions, like a satellite antenna, I call it, and really tell you, okay, you're stuck here. Now reroute, take a U-turn, go to the different direction. And I think this is what the coaches are for.
Mhm.
And going back to our favorite Tony Robbins coach, what I get passionate about him, he constantly shares. Like, I listen to his stuff every single day. And if I don't listen to him, I feel like I'm missing some level of hormones. I feel like for some people that are maybe like will feel that from drinking a beer or drinking a wine,
It really doesn't worry you.
I just can't. It's just like something that he pushes me to keep going and to get up and dress up and to like have the meaning of life. And he brings always his mentors and he brings to stage all his teachers. And I forgot this guy's name who is actually teaching you how to take cold showers. Like, shock your body. Stop being in a comfort zone. Like right now it's 100 degrees outside. Shock your body in the freezing cold water. But yet do the same thing when it's like minus 20 degrees outside. Like, don't allow your body to be comfortable. Challenge your mind, challenge your brain, challenge your, situations that you're undergoing in life.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone. Stop, pity yourself. Oh my God, poor me. Oh my God, my life is this, my life is that. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something. Challenge yourself. And hopefully, eventually, you're going to.
I'll tell you, Olga, I cannot live in my comfort zone.
Me too.
I feel like something is missing if I stay in my comfort zone. That's why I think we need change all the time.
It's the hormones.
Yeah, because we want change because that comfort, it suffocates us, right?
Right.
I need something. I need to
Meaning.
anything, like even being here with you today, right?
Right.
That pushes you out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Being in front of the camera.
I was very nervous.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Even after doing this for over 2 years, a lot of people watching me think like, oh my God, you're so natural. It's so organic. No, it's a lot
organic
of practice.
when it starts.
It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of work.
It is.
My family sees what I'm going through. Sometimes I could go to vacation with my mom and say, you know what, Mom, I'm done. Not doing this anymore. And next thing you know, Dr. Jack texting me, Olga, when are we doing the podcast? And I look at my mom and was like, I can never quit. I just can never quit.
So you already planted the seed. You can't quit now.
Because the moment I feel like, okay, I'm going to reroute, I'm going to redirect myself, I'm going to start, focusing on other things that are more valuable. Because people need to understand, like, I don't take no breaks. This is my passion. This is my life. Real estate is actually the main driving force, what's sponsoring these events right now. Like, I don't have anybody who is paying me money to do this as a sponsor to promote and advertise them. Maybe eventually I'm going to start doing this because I'm getting into like routine of promoting people, and this is becoming like part of my life because I always want to bring businesses and advertise them and create this community. And listen, eventually when we do an event, when I'm going to bring everybody that came to my channel, I think it's going to be a very good number of people. That
It will be really fun.
really fun. I'm working on it.
So speaking about you being nervous, I'm actually an extremely private person. I don't like social media. I never posted anything. And people that see me on social media are like, I have never seen you post anything until now. I see you everywhere. I've never seen you put. And it's true. I am so private. I did not like to post any aspect of my life. But when this calling came to me and I said, I need to help people,
Yes.
I told myself, I don't want to do this. But then I realized by going to these different events and listening to different people that when you have a message, you have to put it out
You
there.
have to.
So
And you only put out through sharing, through giving,
Yeah.
right? And going back to my guru, Tony, he brings his people all the time on stage. Like he doesn't hide them. I have to honestly tell you, when I first started doing this, there were a couple of people that came into my life that were showing their true colors and their true identity of who they truly are. And I started to see patterns of people's behaviors and how they act. Oh, don't call this one, this is mine. Or don't talk to this one, this is mine. And no, we are all humans, we are people. We're all here to be together. We're all here to give. We're all here to promote each other. We're all here to support each other. Like yesterday, I had one of very good friends of mine reach out to me, and her son is 24 years old, who wants to get into real estate. And she reached out to me. She goes, Olga, would you mentor my son? Would you welcome him into your team? Would you help him take this real estate business and do something with it? I said, absolutely. And what
Yeah.
did I do? I challenged my kids. And I'm like, here, talk to this guy because you're young. Just share your experience. And then he came into the office. And then I showered him with our content. And I showered him with our, everything that we could do for him. Do we constantly recruit? Do we constantly look for talent? Yes.
somebody like you that has had a lot of growth in their life, and I know myself too, you understand how important it is to share because somebody had once done that for you. A lot of people have helped me in my life
Right.
to get to where where I am.
You just want to give back.
Yeah, a lot of people like for absolutely no reason. You ask
Right.
them for something and they're just like, yeah, sure, I'll give it. I'll help
Yes,
you, you know. Nobody got anywhere without somebody else being behind them and helping them and opening the doors for them. It's
Right.
not possible to get to the top alone, you know? So for me, so many people have helped me in my life to become who I am, you know,
Right.
to do what I do, that I definitely do want to give back and I do want to help others. So I understand where you're coming from. We do have to give, like my friends and I, when we talk, we all give each other like, oh, hey, I saw this event, or I met this person. I'll introduce you to this, event. I'll introduce you to this guy. He's helping me with my social media or my marketing, or we're always giving each other,
Collaborating and
collaborating. Yeah. Giving each other things because we can all grow
In
together.
your world.
Yeah, we can grow together. Just because I'm growing doesn't take anything away from you
Correct.
and doesn't take anything away from her.
Absolutely.
Everybody can grow together and become stronger because of it.
We have unique gifts, and we all need to dive deep to discover those gifts. And only when we discover those gifts, you are then able to then be the best version of you
Yes.
to yourself, to your family, and then you could go outside and start giving outside of your circle. But I want to ask you one question.
Yes, please.
Personal question. Those people that did give you or help you or guide you, were they outside of our community or they were within our community? Mm-hmm.
Always outside.
Why do you think it is?
I don't think people in our community are really giving.
Why do you think it is?
They're always competing with each other.
Why do you think it is?
Insecurity.
Why?
And they think that if
We have
somebody-
abundance of everything, but why?
I don't know. You know, we're actually a very, very well established community. I feel like
Yeah.
we're doing really well for ourselves.
Yes,
Our parents
yes.
came I'm almost 35. My parents
Right.
came a year before they had me. So I would say like
30
majority
plus
of
years?
people came between 30 to 35 years
Right.
ago, right? They've come a big, big way,
Right.
right? Like, I mean, look at all the biggest houses,
Right.
right?
But you do understand the houses do not define the love and health and
Absolutely.
everything on these houses.
But I'm
Because
saying
right
they're-
now, look what's happening in Israel.
Yes.
Right? We all know. And I spoke about it to someone either this morning or yesterday. We know that material things could be taken away just like that.
Right, instantly. You know what? I'm wrong. I actually did have one person, I will shout him out, help me a lot to build my home. When my husband and I got at our home and we met this person quite accidentally, I might add. My husband was their son's their daughter's, I apologize, their daughter's physical therapist.
He was a builder?
And he was in construction. You know,
who is it?
His name is Chaim.
Okay.
So he was in construction, and my husband came up to him. He saw him in the park. They were in the park on Yellowstone, and my husband saw him, and they were talking. My husband said, "Oh yeah, we just bought a house. We're trying to, you know, build it up, and all of this." He said, "Can I help you guys? I'll help you with whatever it is you need." He came. He gave us an evaluation, and compared to somebody else, it was a way out of our budget. So he didn't say like, "Oh, you guys didn't hire me to do this for you, so I'm not helping you." He was there every step of the way. Anything I needed, I called him.
Wow.
He was willing and open to give me
there is angels.
every contact, the floors, the tiles, the bathroom, everything, the plumbing, everything that I needed. He would just openly, even sometimes go with me to introduce me to these people so they give me a discount, you know? He was so open and giving. I was shocked.
Does he still have a company?
He does. He does.
What does he do?
He's in construction. He builds.
I might need his name.
I'll give it to you. Sure. So yeah, I want to say thank you for people like that, you know, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, not everyone in our community is that giving, but there are people that are giving like that.
I want you to understand something important. I think the transformation already started. And I think the transformation started after October 7th. I personally feel that we were forced to wake up and understand as a nation.
Getting chills right now.
That this is not a joke anymore. If we, within our community, support or don't support each other, we will pay for it.
Yes.
If anyone does any harm, good, God bless, or bad, it will come back. Anyone who comes into this planet Earth to do anything negative, it will come back to their generations.
Yep.
In order for us to understand that, maybe for me, I'll speak for myself, I don't want to come back here ever again. I'm done. And I want to do as many good deeds as I possibly can. And those that are close to me, those that are around me, all my friends that are listening, I love you all. They know that I don't just speak for this because I want attention.
You live it.
I want ranking. I want points. I don't give anything about just understanding that we came to this earth to become someone important and to do and to give as much as we can. Because we are all connected to one that created us.
Yep.
And the one that created us is the one in charge. All these material things that we get a privilege of having, this is all temporary. And I will remind people once again, what I get back door, circle back. What do I do for a living, Dr. Frida? I clear out people's homes. Majority of the time, that's just my destiny, that Hashem keeps giving me this type of properties that are either foreclosures, either people were going through some difficult time, either their family passed away. What happens with all this junk? Recently, I started to show all the disasters that I'm going through on a daily basis. And I want people to see, hey, you chasing to make money, then you go do what? Buy all this junk, then you do what? Collect it in your house, then what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to pass.
Yes.
And all this goes into garbage. So what was the meaning of your life? So now, you're done. You're finished. What are you going to be remembered as? A collector of junk? A hoarder? Somebody who just was in their own space, just chasing stuff? Or are you going to be remembered as a person that was working on themselves, doing the right things for themselves, exercising, living life, giving back, teaching, educating, guiding, maybe even adopting somebody? Like, I'm dealing with somebody right now who is extremely wealthy person. He had his own kids, but yet he adopted a couple of kids also.
I love that.
Okay? Because you already have a routine of having 4 kids. Why not adopt one more to do? I'm getting goosebumps.
If you have the ability to,
All right?
yeah, absolutely, you should.
So it's a higher level of coming out just of things. And I'm not here to preach. I'm just here to use my channel for people to know that yes, we bring a lot of business professionals here that want to talk about their businesses and what they do. And yes, our businesses are driving force for us to give back our time, our efforts to what we are passionate about. And Dr. Frida, I have to honestly tell you, I was so nervous. I had no idea what this episode will unfold like. And I really hope that it transpired and unfolded in a way that it will affect many lives. And hopefully people will continue to listen to us
Amen.
and enjoy this episode. And I hope you enjoyed it because
I enjoyed myself
really,
a lot.
truly enjoyed. I felt like it was a moment of girls therapy. But before we wrap up, I want you to talk about your product that you designed and created to help people as they're going through hard times in life. You want to mention ImmunoAid?
Yeah, the ImmunoAid. I mean, you took it, right?
Yes.
It's right here for whoever doesn't see it. So the ImmunoAid is my own proprietary blend. And what it was designed for, I really want to put it into every single home. Because what it was designed for is to keep people healthy. You know, like I told you, I'm all about preventative. So we as people, we're always with others. And if anybody ever feels sick and they take this, it goes away so quickly. If it's a cold or a flu, it goes away. I mean, if it's a flu or a COVID, it goes away as if it's just a cold. If it's a cold, you just sound congested, but you feel great. You feel energetic. You're fine. You can keep going. If anybody in the family gets something and they give it to everybody else in the family, everyone feels good. Nobody gets sick. Actually, I have a story for you. My mom came to New York to my sister's home, and she came to visit, and she got sick somehow. And my sister started panicking because she has 6 people living with her, plus my parents now. They came to visit, and she's like, everybody's going to get sick. And she was just
Panicking.
Worried, you know. She said, what am I going to do? I said, don't worry. And it had just been her birthday, and I gave her a big ImmunoAid as a gift, a 32 ounce. That's a 16 ounce. I gave her a 32 ounce. I said, you have the ImmunoAid in your fridge? She said, yes. I said, give it to everybody. And everyone took it except her husband, who was stubborn, you know, as men are. He said, I'm fine. I'll be fine. And nobody got anything except for him.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only one that got something. And she gave it to him. The next day, he was fine.
What's in it?
There's a lot of things in there. There's herbs and there's mushrooms in there that boost the immune system. They clean out the blood. They clean out the lymphatic system. They also clean out the liver. They kill toxins. It's like going and just shooting up all the viruses and bacteria that's in the body right away without even letting them grow, without letting them replicate.
Wow.
So as soon as that comes in, that infection, if you take it right away and don't allow that virus to replicate, it will be gone within minutes. You will feel amazing. Like sometimes my kids, they come home and, they have a stronger immune system, but they might be carrying something, and they give something to my baby, and all of a sudden I see like a sniffle. He's only 5 months, and I see like, oh my God, like he's sniffling or something, or I even hear like.
So how do you give this to the baby?
It's very easy. I take 1 ml, I mix it with about 3 to 4 mLs of water, and I give it to him through a syringe. And I give it to him like that. He takes it, and I asked my nanny. I said, "How's he feeling?" She said, "Fine."
Speaking of nanny, do you want to make it formal that you're looking for one? Dr. Frida needs a lot of help. She's juggling so many different things in her life, and if anybody knows of any good nanny, please reach out because we are actively looking.
We're looking
one.
For someone.
And you do so much. Do you have an assistant?
I do. I do have an assistant. My husband manages everything.
Excellent.
I do have an assistant. I also have VA. So there's a whole team behind us.
Excellent. Excellent. How do you manage over 3,000 people right now? Are you planning to step up to, like, what's the next goal? What's the next exciting project you're working on?
Really just my next project is really mass producing the ImmunoAid, putting it into all the pharmacies I really want everyone to have this like available to them
Mm-hmm.
because not everybody lives nearby, and sometimes people get sick and they don't have it in their homes. I want it to be available to them. That is really the next goal.
Is it available for shipment?
It is available for shipment, but again, it gets there within like the fastest within 1 day, and people could get it right away. Let's say if it was in, multiple pharmacies, they could get it right away and drink it and feel much better.
Excellent. Excellent.
So that's really my goal.
Well, Dr. Frida, we have so much to share, and I think this is episode number 1, everybody. We will definitely do a series of those episodes because I definitely think that everyone should get educated, right? And know exactly how to take their health to the next level, because without health, we don't have anything going forward. We cannot think straight. We cannot go to school. We cannot produce.
Yes.
We cannot be good children. We cannot be good mother-in-laws. We cannot be anything good wives. So I think with that, we will wrap up right now. I don't know, Jack, do we have any questions? We have Dr. Jack right outside the studio right now. We'll hopefully come back with some questions. I think there were some questions that I want you to answer. There is some questions that I want you to answer in reference to allergies. How do you manage allergies?
So allergies, it's really about toxins in our body. Everything that we respond to, everything that happens in our body is all about the toxins. So what do I do with allergies? We remove toxins. We desensitize you to things that usually people are sensitive to.
Mm-hmm.
We help to drain everything, all these toxins through your lymphatic system and through, your extracellular matrix, through all of the fluids in your body, and you feel better. You feel great. Also, something else that I love to give for allergies is the Immunoaid. The Immunoaid together with the allergy detox is amazing because, again, like I said, this cleans out the liver, it cleans out the blood, it cleans out the lymphatic system as well. And it's very, very potent and it's very fast. So when they are taken together, it works wonders. People tell me that they have the worst allergies this year and they are taking everything, Benadryl, Zyrtec. They're going to get allergy shots. They're going to their doctors for allergy and asthma and nothing is helping. And then they come to me and whatever I give them, the allergy detox together with the Immunoaid, they're feeling better within 24 hours.
Where is your office? How can they?
In Hollis Hills, Queens.
So they could just get in touch with you through your WhatsApp
Yes.
chats, and then you have social media as well.
Yes, I do.
Right now,
I'm on
super
all
active,
platforms.
all platforms, and we will collaborate this episode back and forth. For those of you that will be watching, we'll definitely put a lot of snippets, and for those of you that don't have the time to watch the full episode, we will be including in our small clips this whole entire episode, so you will be able to rewatch over and over again. If you choose to, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Dr. Frida and Jack will read them, respond to you. And the best part is to get Dr. Frida, follow you on WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah, follow me on WhatsApp, or if it's easier for you on Instagram. Some people, they don't like to be in the chat because they get overwhelmed. They
Right.
cannot handle it. So if it makes it easier for you, you can also follow me on Instagram. My handle is Dr. Frida Wellness. Follow me on Instagram. You can also contact me there. I'm pretty quick at replying. And we can go from there.
Thank you all for watching. I'm super excited. This was just a continuation of everything that we are doing for us, for our families and our communities. And like I said, I'm so grateful for you guys to just take your time to sit down and watch. Thanks a lot. And until next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Olga, for having me here.
Thank you.